That said, I'm gonna stop presenting and make sure that Alex Gamboa is on the teams.
Hello, Sir Tony. Can you hear me na?
Hey, Alex. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, okay.
So,
So, yeah.
oh, feel free to share. But first, I'll introduce you. Perfect. Yeah, you're starting to share, Alex. It's working.
Mhm.
So please welcome to the virtual stage. Unfortunately, Alex will not be able to join us face to face. Alex Gamboa is a senior Power BI developer, data and analytics specialist, and dashboard wizard with over 5 years of experience decoding datasets across different industries from finance to healthcare. Currently, he's working at Medicard Philippines and C Experts. Alex has mastered the art of transforming raw data into actionable intelligence using Power BI, SQL, and Azure Analytics services. His projects don't just crunch numbers, they tell stories, build solutions, and inspire better decisions. Whether it's predictive modeling, custom slicers, or geospatial visualizations of the Philippines, Alex makes data sing. Ladies and gentlemen, to show us some impressive data viz techniques, Power BI Pilipinas moderator, ChatGPT, Alex Gamboa. Alex,
Oh,
yours.
thank you. Hello, Sir Tony. Can you hear me? Everyone, can you hear me? Let me
Yes,
know if you can hear
we
my audio.
can.
Yes, thank you very much for that very humble introduction, Sir Tony. And to all those that are in Wanayala, I hope you had lunch already because medyo mahaba-haba itong usapan natin, daksdakan eh. So, ayun, I'm Alex Gamboa and you may know me sa Facebook as ChatGPT and I've been creating content for about 2 years now relating to Power BI and data analytics. So, yung inintroduce ni Sir Tony na title ko sa presentation is that will impress your manager. So may disclaimer kasi not all managers are very easy to impress, especially when you're a data analyst in a corporate environment. So yeah. So let's start para di na tayo magtagal. So this will be the agenda of my presentation. Apologies if I cannot share my camera kasi ayaw mag-on ng aking camera. I'm not sure why. But yeah, mahalaga you can see my presentation. Okay? And of course, we will discuss what is data visualization, knowing our target audience, how do we get started, and of course, some data visualization techniques that can improve your storytelling, and of course, might impress your manager or your stakeholders. Okay, and of course, as the term itself, data and visualization, it is the process of representing data through visuals. Okay, so what is the example of this? For example, is the COVID-19 data, which is around 2020. Nagsimula siya ng 2020. So hospitals from different cities, from different locations around the world are sending their data to data analysts, and data analysts are visualizing those data in order for the general public to understand what is happening around the world during those days. So this is one of the things that made me interested in data analytics because my data analytics journey started actually post pandemic. So I got really interested on how the data moves from nag-start kasi siya sa China, one case lang, tapos biglang parami ng parami. And I was intrigued, interested, at the same time scared during that time when the number of COVID-19 cases are increasing. But at the same time, I was really interested in how do data analysts do that and how do they make data understandable to the general public. Okay. Another thing is data visualization is really important, especially if you want to identify patterns. And one example of this is Squid Game. So I think most of you naman is nakapanood na ng Squid Game. And according to the Google Trends, yung interest or number of searches whenever Squid Game is released or a season is released, it nag-spike siya every time. magre-release ng Squid Game. For example, nung December 26, 2024, ni-release yung Squid Game Season 2, and makikita mo naman dito, nung June 27, 2025, ni-release yung Squid Game Season 3. Okay? So, makikita nyo pataas yung trend and mukhang magi-spike ulit siya. Naulit yung pattern nung ni-release yung Season 2. And as you can see, nagde-decline siya as time goes by. And yung mga tao dito is naghihintay na ng Season 3 during February 9 up to June 1, 2025. So, from the data visualization, makikita mo yung behavior ng tao on how they watch or how they search on Google, depending on what term is to be searched. Okay? So, isa yan sa mga purposes of data visualization. And of course, sino bang makakalimot sa election? Ito yung pinaka nagustuhan ko. This is one of the things that I like about during elections is to see who is winning, to see who is losing. Okay, so fortunately, ABS-CBN provided a data visualization tool on their website, and I think meron ding geomap to. So as you can see here, the names of the candidates and as well as the number of votes, and meron silang somewhat a bar chart over here that indicates how many votes are they having as compared to the other candidates. And sa party lists, you can see may percent na nakalagay. This is because party list, you can only vote for one. Dito, hindi siya magme-make sense kasi people can vote 12 senators. However, for party list, you can only vote for one. That's why the percentage here matters. So this is actually the result, a snapshot of the result of the 2025 national elections. Okay, and of course, sa mga gumagamit ng Spotify, data visualization has a purpose of driving engagement. This is a marketing strategy by Spotify so that they can market their software or their application to others that are not using Spotify, because this can be shared through social media. So of course, when the year ends, Spotify collects your data or your streaming data, and they put it in somewhat a visualization, because this is somewhat a visualization using cards, and they rank it. After which they rank it, they give you insights. Okay? Pwede mo i-share sa Instagram, pwede mo i-share sa Facebook. So, halimbawa, nakita ng mga hindi makarelate. So, gagamit na rin sila ng Spotify para makinig ng kanilang music. So, I don't know. I don't have the data on how effective this marketing strategy is. Pero, as a user of Spotify, I am really fascinated on how they give insights on the top songs and what are the most frequent songs you're listening to, and how long have you been listening to this type of song, and what type of genre are you listening to. So yun yung mga insights na I really appreciate from Spotify. So with that we can move on to our next agenda in knowing your audience. Okay, so in order for your data story to be effective, it must address the right type of audience. So if you're a data analyst or maybe a dashboard developer, there are 4 types of people that you will encounter in your career. So those 4 types of people are, of course, the executives and the decision makers, the functional managers, your fellow data analyst or data scientist, and the general audience or the public. So start with the first one, with the executives and the decision makers. These are the highest people in corporate. So they are the CEO, the CFO, the VP of sales. So hindi ko nilagay dito yung CTO. They did not put CTO here because chief technology officer can somewhat be a functional manager kasi CTOs are highly technical person. So I did not include it here. I only include the CEO, CFO, and VP of sales. So the traits of the executives are time constraint. They are focused on the big picture. So if you're using Power BI or Tableau, as much as possible, do not use slicers or somewhat do not use things that will waste, or I wouldn't say waste, but will take time for your audience. If they're executive, that will take time for them to use your dashboard. As much as possible, it should be fast, and of course it should be accurate, and as much as possible it's high level, and at first glance they can generate insights, because they are the people who are going to use this type of dashboards are very busy people and very limited time in analyzing your data. So they really need to make a decision very fast. So the visuals must be clear, and of course it must be high level. And of course, we have the functional managers. So these are the people that are below the executives, and they care about operational performance, process improvements, and of course, daily decisions. Okay lang dito sa mga tao na to na gumamit kayo ng interactive dashboards. As much as possible, use drill down capabilities, because these people tend to drill down on your data, and use cases and outcomes for that are relevant to the teams. Example of these people are the marketing manager, the HR head, logistics supervisor, etc. Okay, and of course, these are domain experts, so uh, you feel free to use some slicers, some interactive dashboards on this type of stakeholders. And of course, ang pinakaayaw ko na audience is yung data analyst tsaka scientist. Kasi, ah, ano sila judger sa mga dashboard natin. Okay, ito yung mga tao na, kapag, for example, yung reporting supervisor mo, or you're directly reporting to a data analyst. So these are the people who are, what would I call, very analytic. Of course, they are data analysts. So they tend to see not just the how accurate your data is, but also the functionality of your dashboards. Okay, they tend to see if there are deep dives, or if you are using complex visualizations. Sa mga tao na to, okay lang gumamit ng mga complex visualizations, such as mga scatter chart na may quadrant grouping, ganon, na may quadrant segmentation. Okay lang gumamit ng ganon, ng mga box plot, okay lang sa mga yung, because these people are highly analytical. At the same time, they are very hard to please, okay? Because they are highly technical and tech savvy, okay? Now, ito, my favorite is the general public, because ito yung social media. Okay? When you do your dashboard, or whenever you join a challenge, data challenge like Maven Analytics Challenge or Onyx Data Challenge, okay, and you share your work with the general public, a lot of people tend to appreciate that, especially when they are able to gather a lot of significant insights from it. And they, of course, maraming like, maraming share. Ayun. And ang focus ng general public is, what does this mean for me? So why is this important? Okay? Why is this important for me? Another dashboard that is addressed to the general public, I've shown this before, is yung election results. Okay? So napaka-simple lang niya, bar chart lang siya, and you have the name of the candidate and bar chart and kung ilang percent. So ganun lang kasimple ang kailangan ng general public. So these are customers, community members, and of course yung casual readers. Okay? Mainly, another example of this is yung mga infographics na pinapakita sa mga magazine. Yon. And as a general public, please remember that they have diverse backgrounds and they have low data literacy. So they care about simple explanations, and the visuals must be clear, and of course, it must be relevant to them. Okay, now that we know the 4 types of audience, how do we get started? Okay, so the first question that a data analyst should ask himself before he makes the visualization is, what would I like to show? So we can start with the four. If it's comparison, if it's distribution, if it's composition, or if it's relationship. Okay. Starting off with comparison. If you are going to show comparison, you ask another question, is it among items or is it over time? When we say over time, this involves time period. This involves trends. And if it involves many periods, the best visualization to use is line chart. When if it's few periods, you can use column chart for that. If let's say yung data mo is quarterly lang, hindi siya monthly, and let's say yearly lang siya. So it wouldn't make sense if ang data points mo apat lang tapos gagamit ka ng line chart. So for me, hindi siya magandang tignan. And for the periods, let's say you have few periods, you identify if you have single or few categories or you have many categories. Kasi if you have many categories, okay lang gumamit ng line chart na naka-series. So, eto, maraming series of categories dito kaya pinapakita niya is multiple line charts. So, diskarte nyo pa rin kung paano nyo siya gagamitin. Another thing is, if you're comparing between items, you can compare two variables per item or many categories. This is like a bar chart with several multiples. So if you've used Power BI na, ito yung small multiples na tinatawag natin. Okay? Then we also have the bar chart wherein you can compare many items or few items. If you're comparing many items, maganda bar chart siya na side by side, parang ganito. But if it's few items only, pwede mo siya pagtabihin. Ang tawag dito is clustered bar chart. Although may mga data analyst or BI developers na pinagtatabi to. To see, ang pinakamahalaga kasi dito, makita ng stakeholder mo is to see the difference between those categories. To compare them. Ang purpose kasi nito is to compare. So dito, i-compare over time. Dito, you compare amongst categories. Next is distribution. For distribution, siyempre single variable lang siya and can either compare few data points which you can use a column histogram. When your data points is dumadami na, you can use a line histogram. When it's two variables, so quantitative pareho, let's say the size of the apartment versus the price of the condominium. The price of the apartment versus the size of the square meter yung area, floor area ng apartment. So, pwede kang gumamit ng scatter chart doon and see if there is a relationship between those two. And of course, three variable. This is rarely used naman yung 3D area chart. Then, of course, composition, if it's changing over time or if it's static. If it's changing over time, ang ginagamit dito yung mga ribbon chart across a certain timeline or an area chart across a certain timeline. But if it is static and wala kang timeline na involved, you will use it is advisable to use a pie chart, a donut chart, or a waterfall chart. If you tend to show accumulation, you use the waterfall chart. But if you want to show composition only for a static period of time, okay, you use a simple donut chart or a pie chart. And ayan. And of course, relationship, hindi mawawala scatter chart dyan. It involves two variables. If it involves three variables, you can use the bubble chart. So, ang variables dito, yung X, Y, and yung size ng yung size ng bubble. Okay, sa tablo ko to madalas makita yung three variables. Then, putting them all together, ang tawag dito is yung Andrew Abelius chart chooser. You can search it on Google, and if you're having difficulties in your thought process on how to create your dashboards, pwede kayong mag-refer dito sa chart chooser ni Andrew Abelia. Okay? And of course, meron pa tayong another chart chooser which is yung tinatawag na ang tawag dito is visualization compass. So I got this from the book by Kolokolov and Zelensky, and they mainly compose of 3 items: the ranking or rating, the dynamics, and structure. Pag sinabing ranking or rating, dito yung mga categorical data. Ang sinasabi lang dito, if if it's greater than 10, use a bar chart. If it's less than 10, use a column chart. So, dati akala ko pareho lang yon, may difference pala. Okay? So, this is to maximize yung audience impact ng visualization mo. Pag sinabi naman dynamics, it is something that changes over time. Kapag greater than 12 daw, yung data points mo, so gagamit ka na ng line chart. Kapag less than 10, pwede kang gumamit ng column chart. Less than 12 pala. Bakit 12? Kasi ito yung number of months in a year. And finally, structure. Pag sinabing structure, this is the same thing as saying yung composition. So, analysis of composition of the whole. Kapag greater than 6, you can use a tree map. Pag less than 6, you can use a pie chart, a donut chart, or a pie chart. Okay. Also, I would like to add na you use a tree map whenever there are hierarchies. Yun, isa rin important thing to note. Then, of course, after I've started my visualization, these are the 5 things that I ask before I present my dashboard. Number 1, is the data relevant to the user? Because if it's not, so why bother creating this dashboard? Why bother creating this project? Number 2 is the data accurate? This is whenever you're creating a dashboard, please make sure that it's accurate, because sayang kung maganda ang dashboard mo, mali naman pala. Okay? So, number 3, is the data up to date? So, your data must be up to date in order for your stakeholders to make a decision, in order for your stakeholders to make up-to-date decisions as well. Okay? Of course, is the dashboard easy to use? Because if it's not easy to use, stakeholders will tend to not use your dashboard. Sayang lang yung ginawa natin. Sayang lang yung project natin. Then finally, this is the least priority. Is the dashboard elegant looking? So, many mistakes na ginagawa ng beginner data analyst is nagfo-focus sila sa number 5 muna bago sa number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, dapat, ang order of questions mo is from 1 up to 5. Okay? Dapat, malaman mo kung relevant ba, accurate ba. If na-satisfy mo na tong 4, then tsaka mo tanungin yung panlima. Kasi kung dito ka magsisimula, that will be a chaotic dashboard, kasi una sa lahat, hindi relevant, hindi rin accurate, hindi rin up-to-date. So, sayang lang. Ano lang siya, aesthetic lang. Okay? And finally, of course, with data visualization as a skill, what tools can I use? What is the best tool to use? Of course, this is Power BI Pilipinas, syempre. Ang sasabihin ko, Power BI. Pero, data visualization is a relevant skill regardless of what tool you use. And of course, which one is the best tool, especially here in the Philippines, no? That can land me a job if you're a job seeker or you're a fresh grad. Okay? So, syempre, magiging bias na ako. I would choose Power BI. Bakit? What I'm showing to you is the Gartner Magic Quadrant of data visualization and business intelligence. So, if you don't know what a Gartner Magic Quadrant is, it is a visual representation published by Gartner that positions technology providers in specific market based on their completeness of vision and ability to execute. Okay? In other words, dito mo na malalaman yung technology leaders. So, meron tayong 4 quadrants: the challengers, the leaders, the niche players, and the visionaries. So, ang pinaka-leader is makikita mo on the first quadrant. And Power BI was released, if I'm not mistaken, Sir Tony, 2015, right? So, 1 year after Power BI is nasa leaders quadrant na kaagad siya. Sorry, this is 2024, hindi 2025. This is as of June 2024. And as of June 2024, Microsoft is the leading Microsoft is the leading business intelligence tool as of June 2024, followed by Tableau, which is from Salesforce. Google, I think that is Looker. Oracle, I don't know what Oracle uses. And Click, which they use ClickView. Okay. And as you can see, uh, Power BI is not only leading, but is also drifting away from the other tools. So I do suggest, or I do recommend, that when you're learning a visualization tool, start with Power BI. Unless, of course, you have pre-training from your organization, you have pre-training in Tableau, so unahin mo na yon. But if you do not have anything in mind and you want to uh, if you want to take on a career in business intelligence, I would suggest to learn Power BI. So I think that's all, and these are my socials. Thank you everyone for attending this year's Dakan. Sir Tony, I give it back to you.
Thank you, Chad. So, ladies and gentlemen, any questions? Any questions? Hindi ako nakatingin. Questions from the gang. Questions from Team Bahay as well. Yes, sir. Teka, I'll give you the mic since I'm not sure how good the ceiling speakers.
So how do you determine quality criteria for data to use in Power BI?
Are you asking about like the integrity of the data itself?
Yeah.
Chad?
Hello. Yes.
Sorry, did you
Integrity
hear the
of
question? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before you release a dashboard, this data has gone through several user acceptance testing before you release a dashboard. Okay, so they've gone through several stakeholders and several data analysts before they've been released. They are released to the stakeholders or to the ones that are designated to use those dashboards. So in order for you to determine the integrity of data, you need a point of comparison, which is the data source. Okay, so in my experience, I've been recreating dashboards from for a certain point in time wherein we are migrating from one tool to another. So in order for us to determine the integrity of the data, we compare the numbers by data points and depending on the granularity of the data. Okay, if it's by weekly data or by daily data. It really depends. So my point here is, in order for us to determine the integrity of the data, it will go through a several user acceptance testing before it be released. So does that answer the question?
Thank you. He's nodding. Sorry, you can't hear the nod. He's nodding very enthusiastically. Thanks, Chad. I see another question via Teams chat. For Chad, again, what visuals or charts would you normally use in your reports or dashboards for executives or senior leaders?
So I would be basing this based on my personal experience, but executives and leaders do not tend to care how complex your visuals are. Based on my experience, most of them use simple charts like KPI cards and bar charts, and of course line charts for trends. But if there's one thing I noticed in executives, uh, they like to see if there's a change. So they tend to compare from, let's say, from this year to last year's numbers. They tend to compare. So I suggest, if you're going to present to executives or leaders, you always present a percent in change, and you show those indicators if it's a positive change or a negative change. So if it's a positive change, you do a conditional formatting, color it green, and if it's a negative change, you color it red. So I would suggest that you show a comparison. They like to see comparison. So those are the things that I can suggest based on my experience.
Thanks, Chad. Another follow-up question for you. How to convince my boss to use Power BI versus PowerPoint? Very difficult question from Arthur.
First of all, PowerPoint is a presentation tool and it's not a business intelligence tool. So what you would do based on what your situation is to show them how slow or how many manual processes you are doing in your current situation. Then you show how fast it is in Power BI, because that works in my experience, that works in several leadership.
We actually missed one question up top. Sorry, it was scrolling. Yeah, there's a question from Marco as well. If you recommend using third-party visuals, I'm assuming these are like custom visuals in the app source.
Um, I do not recommend them, but I'm not, I'm not gatekeeping them as well. So I recommend to use native visuals from Power BI, because if you already have native visual, because uh, the apps from App Source, I think they are, ano may bayad, ano, Sir Tony? Yung iba?
Some of them, yeah.
Yes, especially mga Zoom charts. So they may be enticing to use. But if you don't really need them and you can do it natively, do it natively. But if wala ka na talagang choice, yun talaga kailangan mong visual, then go for app source.
Disclaimer, Zoom charts are my friend. So please use Zoom charts. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, they are paid. For Zoom charts though, if anyone here by any chance is using them, and you have any either questions or bug reports, feel free to reach out to me as well, since I have a direct line with them. To add, totally agree though. Like if you can get away with native visuals, use native visuals only because uh, if although the custom visuals are fancier, usually there is a risk of them not working with the next update. There is a risk of them updating something and you not being able to catch up, and it shifting your other visuals, things like that. So there's always although that's also possible with native, but you kind of have that sense of security with native visuals that you know that it's always going to work. Although there's going to be less features, so there's sort of there's a minor risk reward thing going on with custom visuals. But yeah, if you can go native, then native. Go ahead, Jad.
Yes, I'm going to add also, if you're using complex visuals, using native visuals, dun masasana yung DAX nyo. So, ayun, recommend ko rin na gumamit kayo ng native visuals, kasi doon kayo gagamit ng napakaraming measures, and doon mapapractice yung data analysis expression skills nyo.
Hard mode, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Power BI in hard mode. But yeah, thanks. Last question na lang for Chad. What are some okay, yeah. So what are some good sources? Just in case, Kaggle.com was mentioned by Nestor as far as good sources for sample data sets to practice data viz. But Chad, do you have anything else?
Yes, there are can get data also from Maven Analytics and Onyx Data, especially yung mga natapos na challenge. The data is available publicly and free. And yeah, yun din, yung Onyx dataset din. Available din siya online for free.
Correct. If you scanned my QR link, part of my tap link are the data challenges. Onyx Data, Maven. There's a Power BI. Because of the 10th anniversary of Power BI, there is an ongoing Power BI Data Viz challenge as well. Or maybe not ongoing, maybe upcoming. I forgot. Sorry, not too updated. But yeah, there's that.
Also, Sir Tony, I would like to add, you can also get data from government websites around the world, like Canada and Australia, if you want to practice on that. Sa Philippines, I'm not sure yet. I think kailangan mo mag-request sa sa statistics office, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pero you're right, hindi ganun ka clean Unlike Canada, Australia, New Zealand, yeah,
Yeah.
they have cleaner publicly available government data sets. Pero yeah. Going back lang to what Alex mentioned about data challenges, um, apart from you getting data from those data challenges, Onyx nga, Maven, you also get to see what other people come up with using those same data sets. So it's an excellent way for you to practice unstructuredly or have an unguided project. Excuse me. You'll be able to see you whatever you do by yourself. You'll be able to compare it with what other people come up with. You'll be able to find that I can do this measure pala, I can do this use this visual pala, or yun nga, once you get better at a certain point, then you can actually go in, try to aim for the championship spot. And there are prizes for those. So always a treat if you have the time, you have the bandwidth, go ahead and join those data challenges. Onyx Data Ambassador din nga po pala. Maraming salamat.
Yes.
Albert?
Actually, just a tip for the data visualization, right? So it's a tip for data visualization. It's also good to understand what is the context of the data, especially the KPIs. Try to ask what it's for and why it's important for the stakeholder. And then eventually it's going to build year over year that business knowledge. And that would be important as you progress your career, the understanding the context.
Thank you, Albert. Our resident photo video provider. Thank you. Consistently. Thank you, thank you, Albert, for the insight. And I'm gonna need to close down questions for Chad, for Alex, because we need to move on in our day. Isa pa lang yung presenter natin, nasa ano na tayo, 2 p.m. So again, Chad, Alex, thank you very much for
Thank you po.
sharing your thoughts. I-email ko na lang sa yung certificate. Hindi na ako mag-share so that we can skip straight up to our next presenter. Again, thank you very much, Chad.